Copyright notice. The stories I share on this podcast are told either via public domain reciting or by the use of Creative Commons share-alike licensing. Unless expressly mentioned by me, the stories in this podcast do not belong to me in any way and are subject to copyright by their original owner or owners. Viewer discretion advised. Podcast may include graphic content, violence, substance use, and foul language. I recite the stories in this show as they are written to the word, with the only exception being if grammatical errors need corrected. Thank you for watching.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Scared Shitless. This is episode 3. So, a little bit of housekeeping. You guys probably noticed that I have been gone for weeks. I'll have an explanation for that after the story. So, if you're interested in that, hang around for it. If you're not, don't. Don't want to waste anybody's time. So, this week, we are going to be doing things a little bit different because I've learned a little bit more about copyright and that kind of thing. So what I was doing in the other episodes was pretty well just reading direct content, and while I've not gotten in any trouble for that or anything, I have became a little bit more aware of what I'm doing, and without express permission, I don't want to really be using these people's stories word for word and not giving them proper credit for it. They might not want me to tell their stories, so I'm doing things a little bit different. This story actually is from what I've managed to find out about this place myself, my own research and everything. So really proud of the work put into this, and without further ado, let's get into it. So we are doing a place this week instead of a general story. So we're talking about a haunted location, and this haunted location is Lake Shawnee Abandoned Amusement Park in Princeton, West Virginia. I'm from West Virginia, so this place got me all excited. So, let's get right into it. Lake Shawnee Abandoned Amusement Park is located just outside of Princeton, West Virginia, on a large section of land off the side of Matoka Road. This area has been known to have been inhabited by some of the Shawnee Native American tribe. According to Chris White, and I'll give more background on who Chris White is later on, around the year 1770, a man by the name of Mitchell Clay and his family would become the area's first English settlers. However, this wouldn't be the only detail that made Clay, his wife, and their children prominent figures in the history of Lake Shawnee. In the year of 1783, Clay's sons Bartley and Ezekiel, playing outside as a few members of the Shawnee tribe showed up and started attacking them. In an attempt to save her brothers from the vicious attack, Tabitha, Mitchell's daughter, ran out to intervene. However, this would not go as Tabitha had intended. The skirmish would end with her and Bartley brutally murdered and Ezekiel taken captive. Mitchell Clay managed to track the members into Ohio, seeking retribution. However, for his son it was too late. He was found burned at the stake. If you were to go and take a tour of Lake Shawnee Abandoned Amusement Park, you'd see a headstone memorial for the kids where they were buried. This is only a start to the string of tragedies that would occur on this land. The property was obtained around 140 years later by a businessman named Conley Snido, who then opened Lake Shawnee Amusement Park. This park had a swing ride, dance hall, speakeasy, and other water-based attractions. At first, this seemed as if it would be a normal amusement park. But if that were the end of the story, it's unlikely you'd be listening to this right now. Chris White informed us that 6 people would die between the date the park was opened in 1926 and when it was eventually closed in 1966, approximately 40 years. He shared the details of a few of the victims' stories with us. He told us a little girl was riding the swings, and a truck was coming by and it got too close. Well, unfortunately, it caused her to collide with the truck, killing her on impact. Witnesses say that she was wearing a pink dress the day of the incident, and after she landed against the truck, it was entirely covered in blood. So she died on impact and extremely severe injuries. She was alleged to be 6 years old. Another child, a young boy, drowned in the water at Lake Shawnee. He was only found because his mother bumped into his body, hunkered down under the water. Yeah, it's crazy. Another young man had been missing for a large portion of the day. He was supposed to be at the park. His mother dropped him off at the park. Well, she came looking for him. Tried to find where he was. He wasn't there when she came to pick him up. She assumed, well, he must have walked home. She goes home. The boy's not there either. She makes her way back to Lake Shawnee Amusement Park. This young man was found in the bottom of the cement pool with his hand stuck in the drain where he'd unfortunately drowned. And that's just 3 of the stories. So, the closing of the park in '66 was directly caused by the incidents that took place within the park. And later in the 80s, a man named Gaylord White bought the amusement park property. He was the father of Chris, who I was referring to earlier, and Roger White, who are the current owners of the park. So, Gaylord wanted to restore the park and reopen it. Well, he managed to track down the very same swings that the little girl had died on. He bought them and put them back in the amusement park. Now, this is something that I found really interesting. So when he went looking for these swings, he was just looking for a set of swings that were similar to the ones that the little girl had died on. They look exactly the same. Gets them back, reads the serial number, and guess what? Same exact swings. So, yeah, it was really crazy. So he gets them back. Open the park. Admission was $1. The park was only open for 3 years. Due to business reasons, they had to close it. Well, after this, they start bulldozing. So, the way the property is laid out, on the right hand side, you have the amusement park. And over on the left hand side, there's this large field, which is part of the property, and then like towards the main road on that field, that's where the owner's residence is. So it's this field that they started bulldozing because they had plans for it. So anyway, they started bulldozing the portion of the property that was located right next to the park. That's when they started finding old Native American artifacts, arrowheads, tools, those kinds of things. After the artifacts, they found bodies. real human remains. Of course, it was skeletal, but they were real human remains. And got some archaeologists in there. And it's discovered that this land was an old Native American burial ground. And it's approximated to have 3,000 or more remains of Native Americans from years past. The whites made the decision not to disturb their final resting places. Very respectful. And they left a memorial to honor them. Again, I've been there. It's very classy, very respectful. They try to treat the dead there with the utmost respect. Now, after all that, of course, the park became the paranormal attraction that it is now. There are many stories of paranormal activity being displayed in the park, such as ghostly apparitions, wild spirit box sessions, the moving of random objects. For instance, there's a pinwheel hanging off of a ticket booth that's there, and sometimes if you go and you ask, can you move the pinwheel for me? It'll move it. If you ask it to spin it in the other direction, it'll spin it in the other direction. And it'll do this with no assistance from wind whatsoever. Over by the swings where the little girl died, if you ask, she can move things over there. There was a man who came to visit from Pennsylvania, and he was shoved out of the ticket booth by an unforeseen force. No one could see it. And there are many other stories about the things that take place and have taken place at Lake Shawnee Abandoned Amusement Park. Now, I know what you're thinking, because I was thinking the same thing. Somebody like me, I'm a big horror geek, but I'm also a very analytical person. So, I look right at what I'm dealing with, and I try to pay attention to every detail, and I try to analyze it as best as I can. I was a skeptic, but I'm gonna tell you this. I wholeheartedly believe in the spirits of Lake Shawnee. And the reason for that, well, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see I joined a paranormal investigation group. I saw things, and I heard things with my own eyes and ears. Donnie's a believer now. Absolutely insane. So, this is part of the reason that I was gone. The next couple videos, or podcasts, depending on whether you're on YouTube or Spotify, will be about our experience at Lake Shawnee Abandoned Amusement Park. And it was crazy. A lot of wild footage on camera. We caught a shadow person on camera. A real deal shadow person. We caught objects moving on their own. And we have lots of spirit box content. So I want to make another video outside of this to post on my YouTube channel. We have a lot of footage, hours of it, We investigated for 20 hours. So don't be surprised if the video is not out tomorrow, or it might take a while, but we really have something really good cooking for you guys. Now, that gets me into housekeeping. So, due to wanting to make my YouTube a more accessible platform, I'm going to be changing the name of my YouTube. It's going to be going from, of course, the name of this podcast to Smokey's Paranormal. It's my nickname, of course. It's on the hat. That's what I'm called. So, the channel on YouTube will be Smokey's Paranormal from here on out. Now, the podcast is going to continue. It's still Scared Shitless. That's the name of the podcast. So, we're keeping it. We're rolling with it. Now, that's not the only reason that I haven't been around. So, of course, I'm sure if you've watched past couple videos and you're watching on YouTube now, you notice that I don't have red lights behind me, and honestly, the microphone probably sounds different. I have gotten a good opportunity to get a new place, and it's a much better space to live in. I actually have my own space that I can dedicate to these videos and these podcasts, and try to give the best content possible. Now, I've been in the process of moving. I've had work, and then, of course, had to get into my investigation. Admittedly, I have taken a little bit of time off to myself, and I'm sorry for that. But I'm back now, and I plan on making up for every one of those episodes that I missed, getting back on schedule, and we're gonna get Scared Shitless, guys. So, I really appreciate everybody taking the time and bearing with me. But we're gonna make this happen. We're gonna roll with it. And so this podcast is gonna get a whole lot more interesting, because when we have investigations, you're gonna get my account of what happened. And listen, I'm not here to fabricate anything. Like I've told you, you can believe or you cannot believe. And for me, it doesn't make a difference to me. I'm having fun. I want to share what I know and what I've heard with you, and that's what this whole experience is. So take it for what it is. Believe it or don't believe it. But what I do ask, have a good time. Okay, have a good time. That's all I want. So that's pretty much it. I do want to say I am finally, hopefully, going to be able to get a fan story out. Yes. Email me your fan stories at scared shitless period instead of an I, TLESS podcast at gmail.com for a chance to be featured after the main feature in my podcast. Now, I'm gonna have to edit the story that was sent to me and revise it and go over it, because it was more of a sporadic kind of synopsis. I've gotten in contact with the person who sent me the story, and we're gonna get it out. It's gonna be good. So really excited for that. But if you're listening on Spotify, please go check out YouTube. It should be changed by now. Smokey Paranormal. And the team that I joined, they are called the Spoopy Paranormal Squad. It's headed by Sick Ninja B&B, Brian Bryant, on YouTube. Another member is thelonewar on YouTube and TikTok. And last guy goes by the nickname Evman. He currently doesn't have any video formatting. He's just there to be there and help us out, and investigate. Right now, he currently doesn't have any want to make content. I've tried to talk him into it, so we'll see what I can't get figured out there. But very, very excited for what we have coming up. So, there we go. We got episode 3 in the books, guys. So, please, share this podcast. I gotta get paid, guys. I gotta get paid. Gotta help me out. The best way to support me is exposure. Send my video to your friends. If you enjoy it, maybe they will. Send it to your brother, send it to your sister, your mom, your grandma, your cousin, someone. And who knows? Maybe we can make this podcast way better than I ever thought it would be. But that's all I have for you guys today. I really appreciate everybody tuning in, listening, watching, and make sure, if you want to send me a fan story, email it to me at scared, @scared@gmail.com. That's all for today, folks. And as always, be scared shitless.